Okay, this is my demo for part 2 and part of part 1. So I'll start with my version control. You can see here, here's all mine for part 2, and then the rest for part 1 as well as the other page. I can show you some of them as well. So it says that what I've done, what I've done on my things, what I've done on my program, what I've added to my program, sorry. And then in others, it says what I need to do. So here's a good one. Added a method, corrected a bug, and what to do in the future. So yeah, I'll show you for the one of the newer comments as well. So again, here's one that says that I finished the if statements. Says what I can now do. Yeah, so that's good. So yes, I've done all this. Yep. I have done one unit test for part 2. Oh, fuck. Which is part of my part 1 second chance. Unit tests. There we go. So this is testing if the variable is correct. So the test will enter in these two commands. So var equals 10, circle var. And what it'll do is it'll test for this part. So if we go to the parser, it'll come here and it'll see, it'll catch basically here because it's trying to. This is basically where you work out your parameters, but you can see there's not a number, it's a variable, so it'll come here. It'll start with the boolean is var false, which is basically the variable flag. It will then cycle through the length of the array, so how many variables been entered, and it'll check if the variable name is found. It will then give the corresponding value for the next parameter of the command. So if we go back to the test, it'll give 10 to the circle, so it'll be circle 10. So if I run this, you can see that it runs and be successful, like that. So yep, I can now show you my variable. I've shown you how part of how it works. I'll show you how it finds out. So if I go down here, so it will check to see if there's 3 parts in the line entered. So you obviously have your command, your equal sign, and then the value. So it'll split in the middle. The first part will be assigned to var name, and the value will be assigned to var value. Var name will be given to the first part of the split, and the var value will be given to the last part. It will basically take the string and then pass into an integer, which then will be put into var value. And then the variable name array and variable value counter will hold these names and values for the variable. So the variable counter will basically start at 0, you input your name and value, and then increase, so you add another one if you want to do. So yeah, I can show you in how it works. So if I do var equals 10, circle var, then I can do like var equals 25, circle var, run, no circle. So yeah, that's all this. This won't work. Loops, no. If, no. Methods, no. Lights, no. I started doing a factory pattern. So here, this is basically, this is an example. I was going here, I was getting setting the values here. I was doing some comments as well for XML commenting. So obviously, call the factory, it'll make an object, and then you can just call the draw for the shape, and it'll draw onto the canvas. But that hasn't been implemented yet, and it won't be. XML commenting again. If you look back, I have done some for these classes. I have done some for these classes. Oh, sorry for these methods. And then for the unit test, I've done some here for the new unit test. Exception handling, I have done that as well for the variables here. Oh no, sorry. Up here? Yeah, here. So just checking if it's basically saying if the variable isn't true, here, then obviously it's an invalid command, and the error message will appear, and it won't run the rest of the code. Yep. And then for part 1, if we go to the unit tests, because I didn't get any points for unit tests for part 2, which we would go and do for part 1 to get extra marks back. If we go back to my code, you'll see that I've added a test for part 2 for variables. So yeah, that's my part 2 demo. Hope you enjoyed it.